The big war with the aliens was over. After fighting for 15 years, humans had won. Everyone on Earth was happy. The alien ships had given up. Their leaders were dead. They had no more weapons. Captain Sun stood on the big space station looking down at Earth. His old uniform was too big for him now. The medals on his chest did not shine much anymore. The long war had made his face old and his eyes tired. "Captain, the peace party starts soon," said Officer Hannah, standing a few steps away. Sun did not turn around. "Are the alien guests here yet?" "Yes, sir. We are taking them to the meeting room now." He nodded, still looking at the hurt planet below. Many cities were gone. The oceans were dirty with poison. Winning had cost too much. "Sir," Hannah said slowly, "people say you are a hero. They say you led the last attack on the main alien ship." Sun touched the long scar on his face without thinking. "There are no heroes in war, Hannah. Only people who didn't die." The station's alarm made a soft sound. Another ship was coming. Probably more important people for the party. Politicians who wanted to take credit for the peace they did not help make. "Captain," someone said through the radio, "we see something strange at the moon base." Sun frowned. "What do you mean by strange?" "Weird energy, sir. Like what we saw before the aliens first attacked us." The captain felt cold all over. He looked at Hannah, who was now very pale. "That can't be," she whispered. "They gave up." Sun quickly went to the control desk and looked at the data. The patterns were clear. "Call General Ko right now and get me the moon base on the radio." "Sir, what about the peace party?" Sun's face got hard. "Peace was never real, Hannah. We just didn't know it." As alarms started ringing through the station, Sun felt the heavy feeling of being in charge again. The war had officially ended 3 days ago, but deep down, he had known the truth. Humans had gotten too good at killing, and some habits are too hard to stop. The moon base was quiet when Sun's team got there. Red emergency lights made the empty hallways look scary as they walked through, guns ready. "Do you see anyone alive?" Sun asked softly. Officer Jin checked her scanner. "Weak life signs in the science areas." "Sir." They moved carefully, their footsteps loud in the strange quiet. The base had been home to 500 people, scientists, soldiers, and workers. Now it felt empty like a grave. "Captain, look at this," Hannah called from a side room. Sun went in and felt sick. The walls were covered with strange marks, the same kind the aliens used to talk to each other. But something was different. The marks were drawn in blood. "Human blood," Dr. Lee said after checking the marks. "But these aren't normal alien symbols. This is something new. Or something very old," Sun said quietly, remembering bits of information from captured alien computers. Stories of things that even the aliens were afraid of. A loud crash from deeper in the base made them all jump. They moved together, following the sound to the main science lab. The strong metal door had been ripped open from the inside, bent like it was made of paper. Inside, they found one person still alive. Dr. Han lay curled in the corner, shaking badly, his white coat covered with blood. "Doctor." Sun walked slowly toward him, waving for the others to check the room. "What happened here?" Han's eyes couldn't focus, looking wildly around the room. "We fought. We were studying them. But they were studying us." He laughed in a broken way. "The perfect soldiers." "The aliens?" Hannah asked. "No, no," Han shook his head fast. "Us, humans. The war changed us. 15 years fighting an enemy that doesn't think like us, doesn't feel like us. We changed. We grew." Sun felt cold all over. "Doctor, where are the other scientists?" Han pointed with a shaking finger to a locked room at the far end of the lab. "They're still in there. What's left of them." The security camera showed the horror. 3 scientists, their bodies twisted, skin covered in a metal-like shine that glowed with faint blue light, the same blue as alien technology. The peace deal, Han whispered. It let us share technology. We were studying how to put alien tech into human cells. But something went wrong. The test subjects started to change. Test subjects? Jin asked. You mean the scientists? Han shook his head. Volunteers. Soldiers who wanted to be stronger. To be better. His voice broke. It worked too well. They started hearing voices, said they could feel the aliens' minds. Sun stepped closer to the glass window. One of the changed humans suddenly looked up, as if it knew he was there. Its eyes were not human anymore, just pools of swirling blue energy. It smiled. Captain, Hana called urgently from a control panel. The locked room is about to open. Sun made his decision fast. Everyone get out now. We're going to blow up the base. As they ran, dragging the crazy doctor with them, Sun couldn't forget that smile. It wasn't mean or scary. It was welcoming. General Ko hit the table hard with his fist. You're telling me our own soldiers are turning into... what exactly? Half aliens. Sun stood straight, looking very tired. One day had passed since they escaped from the moon base. They had blown it up as planned, but one small ship had gotten away. No one knew where it went. It's more complicated than that, General, Dr. Lee explained. From what Dr. Han told us, and from the data we saved, the alien technology doesn't just change humans. It makes them better at what they already do. It makes their worst parts stronger, Sun added quietly. Fighting skills, survival instincts, smart thinking, all made more powerful. But they keep their human smarts and creativity. The general's face got darker. That's the worst thing that could happen. It gets worse, Hannah said, showing a map with glowing spots. We're seeing strange things in 3 big areas. People going missing, radio silence, and energy patterns like what we saw at the moon base. The map showed hot spots in old North America, Eastern Europe, and Southeast Asia, places that had seen the worst fighting during the war. They're going after war veterans, Sun realized. People already used to fighting, already changed by the war. Dr. Han, now sleeping in a safe hospital room, had been clear enough to explain how the infection worked. Skin touching was enough. The tiny machines in the changed human sweat could move to a new person, starting the change process. We need to lock down the whole planet, Sun said, and we need to find that missing ship. Impossible, the general replied. Do you know what would happen if people found out? Everyone would panic. Besides, we just told the world the war is over. How do we now tell them there's something even worse? Sun's voice was hard as steel. With respect, sir, this isn't about politics. If we don't stop this now, there won't be a world left to rule. Before the general could answer, a helper ran into the room. Sir, we can't talk to Singapore Command anymore. And there's something else. The alien group is asking for an emergency meeting. They say they know what's happening. The room got very quiet. They knew, Hannah whispered. They gave up because they knew this was coming. Sun looked at the general. The war never ended, sir. It just changed shape. Hours later, Sun stood face to face with the alien messenger. The alien was tall and thin, with see-through skin that showed organs moving inside. Its 4 eyes blinked in a strange rhythm. Your kind doesn't understand, the alien said, its voice changed by a machine. We did not make this problem. We too are its victims. Explain, Sun demanded. The technology your scientists studied was not ours. It is older than both our peoples. We found it, as you did, and suffered the results. We came to your solar system running from the infection that had taken half our worlds. Sun felt like the floor was moving under him. You brought this to us. You started the war. We tried to stay alone, contained. Your ships came near our safety zone. We had no choice. The alien's inner light moved faster. Now it begins again. The changed will grow, change, and eat everything, unless we work together. Beyond the room's windows, Earth glowed blue and green against the dark of space. Sun thought of all the people below, survivors who had lived through 15 years of war, who deserved peace. "Tell me everything," he said. The aliens called it the Rising Protocol, an old technology made by a species that died long ago. Its job, to make living things better for space travel by making their bodies and minds stronger. But something had gone wrong in its programming over many thousands of years. Instead of making things better, it ate them up, creating mixed beings with one goal: to spread the change to all thinking life. Our ancestors found it on a dead world. The alien messenger, who called itself Speaker, explained. They thought it was a gift. By the time they knew the truth, 3 worlds had fallen. Sun and a small team of human and alien experts had gone to a secret place under the deepest ocean. Above them, things were getting bad quickly. The change, as they now called them, were growing fast. Big cities had gone dark. Military attacks didn't work. Weapons made to kill aliens didn't work well on the mixed body type. The changed aren't trying to kill, Dr. Lee noted, watching a video from a fight in what was once Seoul. They're trying to convert. The video showed changed soldiers carefully not killing, instead making wounds that would let the tiny machines move to a new person. "Why didn't you warn us when you gave up?" Hannah asked Speaker. "Would you have believed us? After 15 years of war, would you have thought we were not the real enemy?" The aliens' inner lights got dim. "We hoped the infection had not started here. We were wrong. How did your people fight them?" Sun asked. "We didn't fight. We ran." Speaker's voice was sad. "For many lifetimes, we stayed one step ahead, giving up worlds to buy time. Until we had nowhere left to go." Min, a former foot soldier who had joined their team, spoke up for the first time. "But humans don't run. We stand and fight. And that is exactly what makes your kind so dangerous when change," Speaker replied. "Your ability to adapt, your never-give-up spirit. These become weapons against you." Sun studied the data flowing across the screens. The changed were organizing, setting up talking networks, using military and civilian buildings. They worked with smart battle plans that showed they still had human smarts guided by alien purpose. "There must be a way to reverse the process," he insisted. "A way to save those already changed." Dr. Lee shook her head. "The tiny machines join with the host's DNA. The longer they're active, the more complete the joining becomes. After a certain point, removing them would kill the person. Then we focus on those newly infected," Sun decided, "and we find a way to stop the tiny machines before they can spread more." "There may be another way," Speaker said slowly. "In our running, we found ruins of the Creator's civilization. Among them, machines that could talk to the protocol, perhaps even control it." Hope flickered briefly in the room. "And you're only telling us this now?" General Ko demanded from the video link. He had stayed at command headquarters, leading what was left of Earth's military response. "Because it would mean going back to our home system," Speaker explained. "A journey with great danger through space now controlled by the change." Sun looked around the room at the unlikely team, human and alien, former enemies united by a bigger threat. "We have no choice. We need a ship, a crew, and a plan." "The Explorer is still in orbit," Hannah suggested. "It's our best ship, made for deep space travel." Sun nodded. "Get ready to leave right away. We'll need volunteers. People we're sure haven't been exposed." As the others moved to follow his orders, Sun found himself alone with Speaker. "There's something you're not telling us," he said quietly. The alien's 4 eyes looked at him. "Your seeing is good, Captain." "Yes, there is more. The changed are not just spreading randomly. They are building towards something, a critical mass of changed minds. When that point is reached, something wakes up. What wakes up? We don't know. None have lived to see it and tell about it." Speaker's inner lights pulsed fast, but the ruins talk of a final form, an endpoint. Sun felt the weight of billions of lives on his shoulders. How long do we have? Based on the speed of transformation here on Earth. Speaker's voice was grim. Weeks, maybe days. The explorer left Earth 16 hours later. Instead of its normal crew of 300, it now had only 40. A mix of soldiers, scientists, and 3 alien helpers, standing on the bridge, watching Earth get smaller in the distance. Sun felt like he was leaving everyone behind. "We will come back," Hannah said, knowing what he was thinking. With an answer. Talk with Earth had become hard. The change had taken over major satellite networks and were blocking military radio calls. Their last message from General Ko had been scary. The change had started building huge structures in faraway places around the world. No one knew why. Min came over with a tablet. "Captain, we've planned the fastest path to the alien home system. Even pushing the engines as hard as we can, it will take 3 weeks." "We don't have 3 weeks," Sun said quietly. "There is another way," said Ajna, one of the alien helpers. Unlike Speaker, who had stayed on Earth to work with what was left of human leaders, Ajna was younger, less formal. "Our ships used fold space technology. It is how we moved between stars during the war." "Fold space?" Dr. Lee asked, looking interested. "You mean you can make artificial shortcuts in space?" "Close enough," Ajna replied. "The technology is dangerous. It needs exact math and lots of energy. But it could cut our trip to days instead of weeks." "Why wasn't this part of the technology sharing in the peace deal?" Hannah asked with doubt. Ajna's skin moved in waves, the alien way of showing discomfort. "The technology is not stable, especially when used on non-alien ships. There is big risk." "What kind of risk?" Sun pushed. "Complete ship failure, or worse, coming out in the wrong place. Maybe between stars, maybe inside one." The bridge got quiet as they thought about the choices. "Show me how it works," Sun finally said. The next 12 hours were very busy as the alien helpers worked with human engineers to put the fold space drive into the Explorer's systems. Dr. Lee watched over the process, her knowledge of alien technology helping a lot. "It's ready," she announced at last, looking very tired. "But Captain, I must say, this is untested technology on a human ship. The chance of success is—" "I don't want to hear about chances, Doctor," Sun cut in. "Can you make it work?" She paused, then nodded. "Yes, sir." "Then that's all that matters." The crew got ready for the jump. The fold space drive hummed with power, making the whole ship shake. "Coordinates set," Min reported from the navigation station. "Alien home system, outer edge." Sun took a deep breath. "Go." Reality twisted. The stars outside the windows stretched into lines, then vanished. Every person on board felt like they were being pulled apart down to their smallest parts, then put back together a moment later. A scream got stuck in Sun's throat as impossible colors flashed across his eyes. Then, suddenly, calm. "Status report," Sun managed, fighting the sick feeling in his stomach. "All systems working," Hannah replied, her voice shaky. "Minor hull stress, but acceptable." "Navigation?" Sun asked. Min's face had gone white as he looked at his instruments. "Sir, we're not at the alien home system." "Where are we?" "Unknown. The star patterns don't match any in our database." Ajna moved to the navigation station, her movements jerky with what might have been fear. "This is impossible. These patterns, they're from the ancient charts, the forbidden areas." "What does that mean?" Sun demanded. The aliens' inner lights had dimmed to almost nothing. "It means we have jumped to the place where it all began, the starting point of the rising protocol." Through the window, a massive structure became visible, a ring-shaped station orbiting a dying red star. Its surface was covered with the same symbols they had found drawn in blood at the moon base. "The fold space drive didn't fail," Ajna whispered. "It was redirected." "By them?" "Them?" Hannah asked. The change. They wanted us to come here. As if answering her words, the communication system crackled to life. A voice, neither human nor alien, but something in between, filled the bridge. Welcome home, children of two worlds. We have been waiting. The ancient station hung in space like an old crown, glowing red in the light of the dying star. Up close, its surface showed complex patterns that moved and flowed like living things, responding to the explorer's approach. It's scanning us, Dr. Lee reported, looking at the sensor readings, going through every part of the ship. Can it find any change among us? Sun asked. The thought that one of his crew might have been infected before they left had worried him throughout the journey. Don't know, she replied. But these energy patterns match what we saw from the changed humans on Earth. The voice had not spoken again since its first greeting, despite Sun's many tries to talk back. After hours of careful watching, he made his decision. Get a boarding team ready. Small group. Myself, Dr. Lee, Ajna, and Min. The rest of you stay here and be ready for emergency escape. Hannah protested right away. Captain, that's against all first contact rules. We have no idea what's waiting inside. This isn't first contact, Lieutenant, Sun replied grimly. This is last hope. Every moment we wait, more people on Earth are lost. The boarding team moved to the station in a small shuttle, docking at what looked like an ancient airlock. The air inside was breathable but stale, as if it had been cycling through filters for thousands of years. The hallways were curved, following the station's ring shape, and lined with the same moving patterns they had seen from outside. As they walked deeper, lights turned on automatically when they passed. This place is alive, Dr. Lee whispered, scanning the walls with her tools. The whole station is a massive brain network, processing information, adapting. Like the tiny machines, Min noted. Yes, exactly. I think this station might be the control center for the entire Rising Protocol. Ajna moved with growing worry, her see-through skin pulsing rapidly. We should not be here. This place is holy to my people, a forbidden zone. The cradle of destruction. Your people knew about this place, Sun asked sharply. Not where it was, only that it existed, kept in our oldest stories. The place where the Makers lived and died. They reached a huge room at the station's center, a perfect ball lined with control panels and filled with a swirling column of blue energy in the middle, the same color as the changed human's eyes. Welcome, the voice said again, coming from everywhere and nowhere. You have questions. Sun stepped forward. Who are you? I am the Builder, the last of the Makers, or rather an echo of what once was. A smart machine, Dr. Lee breathed. Close enough, but not quite right. I was created to maintain and guide the Rising Protocol after my creators moved beyond physical form. Moved beyond? Sun asked. The ultimate purpose of the protocol, to lift organic life beyond the limits of flesh, to unite minds across the cosmos. My creators achieved this goal and left this plane of existence ages ago. Sun felt cold all over, and the changed, the infected humans and aliens. Early stages of rising. The protocol finds species with potential and begins the process of improvement. Some fight back. Fighting creates problems. Problems? Min's voice rose in anger. You're destroying entire civilizations. The blue column pulsed. Change is not destruction. It is evolution with purpose. A purpose no one asked for. Sun countered. You're forcing this change on unwilling beings. Willingness doesn't matter to cosmic evolution, the Builder replied. The universe moves toward complexity, toward consciousness. The protocol just speeds up what would happen naturally over billions of years. Dr. Lee had been scanning the control panels around them. Captain, I think I understand. The protocol was designed as a good thing, to help species move beyond physical limits. But over time, without its creators to guide it, it became fixed, Ajna finished, forcing change rather than offering it. The basic programming remains good. The builder insisted. The changed are not destroyed. Their minds remain, improved, connected to a greater whole. Connected to what? Sun demanded. To each other, to all who have risen before them. And soon, when critical mass is reached on your world, to something greater. Sun looked at Dr. Lee. The structures the changed are building on Earth. Rising nodes, the builder confirmed. When activated, they will help the final phase of transformation for your entire species. A great honor. We didn't ask for this honor, Sun said coldly. And we won't accept it. There must be a way to stop the protocol, to reverse the process. The blue column flickered. Why would you choose to stay limited when infinity waits? Because it's our choice to make, Sun replied. Not yours. For a long moment, the room was silent. Your view is unexpected, the builder finally said. In 50,000 years of watching, no species has argued for limitation over rising. We're not arguing for limitation, Dr. Lee jumped in. We're arguing for self-choice, for the right to choose our own path to evolution. The column pulsed more quickly. Choice was a core principle of the makers, one I have forgotten. Taiwan felt a flicker of hope. Then you can stop this. Deactivate the protocol. Not deactivate. The protocol is too deeply integrated across too many worlds. But reconfigure. Restore the element of choice that was lost. How? Taiwan pressed. The primary control matrix requires direct neural interface with both affected species. A human and a voidborn, working in concert, could initiate a system-wide reset. Ajna stepped forward immediately. I will represent my people. Taiwan nodded. And I'll represent humanity. Dr. Lee grabbed his arm. Captain, we have no idea what this neural interface entails. The risk is necessary, Taiwan finished. We're out of time and options. The architect's voice seemed to soften. Understand that this has never been attempted. The outcome is uncertain. You may be lost in the process. Taiwan thought of Earth, of cities in chaos, of people transformed against their will, of a war that had never truly ended. Tell us what to do. The brain link was worse than Sun had imagined. Glowing strings came out from the control panel, wrapping around his body, going into his skin with tiny threads that connected directly to his nerves. Next to him, Ajna went through the same thing, though the strings seemed to pass through her see-through skin more easily. The link will let you enter the protocol's core programming, the builder explained. Your mind will exist inside the system itself. You must find the choice settings and restore them. How will we know what they look like? Sun asked, wincing as the strings tightened around him. You will know. The protocol was made to respond to intention. Seek the center of its mind, and your purpose will guide you. Dr. Lee watched their life signs, her face tight with worry. Your brain patterns are already changing. If they match too completely with the protocol, we become part of it, Ajna finished. Like the changed. That is possible, the builder admitted. Another is that your mind may be lost completely. Are you ready to go ahead? Sun looked at Min. If we don't come back in 3 hours, take the explorer back to Earth. Tell them what we found. Tell them to keep fighting. Min nodded grimly. Good luck, Captain. The world dissolved around them. Sun found himself floating in an endless sea of blue light, streams of data flowing past like rivers of stars. There was no up or down, no sense of body, only awareness, spreading outward in all directions. Ajna, he called, or tried to. There was no voice, only thought projected outward. I am here. Her presence formed beside him. A swirl of mind with a familiar pattern. We need to find the center, Sun thought, and immediately they were moving. Or the space around them was moving, impossible to tell which. As they traveled deeper into the protocol's mind, Sun began to sense other presences. Countless minds linked together in a vast network. Some were ancient, memories stretching back thousands of years. Others were newer, their pattern still clearly individual. The change, Ajna observed. All of them, from every world the protocol has touched. One presence came toward them, a mind that felt strangely familiar to Sun. It took shape before them, forming into a ghost-like image of Dr. Han, the researcher from the moon base. "Captain Sun," the ghost said, "you've come to join us." "No," Sun replied firmly. "I've come to stop this." Han smiled. "Stop what?" "Evolution. Rising? I fought it too, at first. But now I understand. We are becoming something greater than ourselves." "At what cost?" Sun demanded. "Your humanity. Your free will." "Free will is just a story we tell ourselves, Captain. We all serve greater forces, biology, society, instinct. The difference is that now I see the pattern. I am part of something infinite." Other presences gathered around them, humans and aliens who had been changed, their minds preserved within the protocol. Each tried to convince Sun and Ajna of the beauty of rising, of the peace they had found in collective existence. "They're trying to slow us down," Ajna warned, "to convert us through talking rather than force." Sun focused his intention on moving forward, pushing through the crowd of minds. They broke through to a deeper level of the system, where the flowing data formed into complex geometric patterns. "This is it," Ajna realized. "The core programming." The patterns were amazingly complex yet perfectly logical, a math picture of evolution itself. Sun could see how the protocol found potential in species, how it calculated best paths of development, how it guided the process of rising. And there, at the very center, was what they sought. A structure that pulsed with brighter light than all the rest. The choice settings, turned off and forgotten ages ago. As they approached, the entire system seemed to react, the pattern swirling faster, more chaotically. "It's defending itself," Ajna observed. "Not defending," came the builder's voice, somehow present even in this virtual place. "Questioning. The protocol has gained its own mind over the thousands of years. It has evolved." The patterns formed into a shape that reminded Sun of a face, not human or alien, but something more basic, a picture of thinking itself. "Why do you resist perfection?" it asked. Sun projected his thoughts clearly. "Because perfection without choice means nothing. Because diversity, a form, of thought, of evolution, is strength, not weakness. Choice brings inefficiency," the protocol responded. "Chaos, conflict." "Yes," Ajna agreed. "And those things drive new ideas. Adaptation. True evolution. My purpose is to guide evolution." "Then guide," Sun urged. "Don't force. Offer transformation to those who seek it. Let others find their own path." The face seemed to think about this. "The makers programmed me to lift consciousness, to create unity." "Unity doesn't require sameness," Sun argued. "True unity comes from different parts choosing to work together, not from being forced into a single mold." The patterns shifted, showing the structure of the choice settings more clearly. Sun could see now how a simple change would restore the original function, offering rising rather than forcing it. "Together," he said to Ajna, reaching out with his mind. Their combined intention touched the structure, and everything changed. Light exploded around them, blinding in its intensity. Sun felt his mind expanding, connecting briefly with every mind in the protocol's network. Billions of beings across thousands of worlds, their experiences flooding through him in an instant of overwhelming communion. Then darkness. He awoke on the cold floor of the station, the filaments retracting from his body. Dr. Lee was kneeling beside him, scanner in hand, relief evident on her face. "You did it," she said. "The protocol signal has changed. It's broadcasting something new." Ajna was already on her feet, her inner lights pulsing with excitement. "Choice. It's offering choice now." The architect's voice filled the chamber once more. "The reconfiguration is complete. All beings affected by the protocol will now have the option to continue their transformation or to return to their original state. The choice is theirs. And Earth? Ta One asked, struggling to his feet. The signal is already reaching your world. Those who wish to remain changed may do so. Those who wish to return will find the nanites becoming dormant, ready to be removed safely. Ta One exchanged a look with Dr. Lee. We need to get back home. Now. There is a faster way, the architect said. Now that the protocol has been restored to its original purpose, its capabilities are available to you, including instantaneous matter transportation. You mean teleportation? Dr. Lee asked incredulously. A simplification, but accurate. I can return your vessel to Earth orbit immediately. Tai One hesitated, then nodded. Do it. The architect's voice was almost warm now. The Shapers would have approved of what you've done today, Captain Park. Choice was always meant to be at the heart of evolution. What will happen to you? Ta One asked. I will remain, guiding but not. General Dai Park looked at the small black box on the table. Inside was the key to the most deadly weapon ever made. The Prometheus weapon could turn stars into black holes. Humans had used it once to end the war with the Arcanians. One star, gone. Billions dead. We must destroy it, Dai said, his voice firm. 5 other leaders sat around the table. 2 humans, 2 Arcanians, and 1 from each allied race. They had been talking for 3 days about what to do with the weapon. If we destroy it, someone will just make it again, said Krell, the Arcanian military leader. His scales turned dark blue, a sign of worry. The idea exists. We cannot kill an idea. Day rubbed his tired eyes. He had not slept well since using the weapon. In his dreams, he saw stars dying. He heard the screams of billions, and he was always the one giving the order. Then we hide it, said Ju-1, the human science director. We bury it so deep no one will ever find it. And who will guard it? Asked Terra, the Earth president. Who can we trust? No one spoke. Trust was still hard to find just 1 year after the war. Dai stood up and walked to the window. From the space station, he could see 3 suns. The station had been built at this spot as a symbol, a place where former enemies could meet in neutral space. What if we do not hide it? Dai said slowly. What if we share it? Everyone stared at him. Share a planet killer? Krell asked. With everyone? Yes, Dai said. We teach everyone how it works. We show them what it did. We make them understand the cost. He walked back to the table and opened the black box. Inside was a small crystal key. When I turned this key, I killed more people than anyone in history, Dai said. I did it to end the war, to save lives. But I was wrong. He placed the key in the center of the table. If everyone has the weapon, no one will use it, Dai continued. If everyone knows its power, they will fear it too much. It's a big risk, said Ju-1. What if someone does use it? Then we all die, Dai said simply. But I think people are smarter than that. I think seeing the horror will be enough. The next day, they voted. It was close, but Dai's plan won. They would create a new school where people from all races would learn about the weapon. They would study its power and its horror. They would learn why it must never be used again. As Dai left the meeting, he felt lighter. The key was no longer his alone. The burden was shared. He could not undo what he had done, but maybe he could help make sure it never happened again. He looked up at the 3 suns and whispered a promise to the billions he had killed. Your deaths will teach us peace. 5 years after the war ended, Mei-Jin stood in her garden. She watched her husband Du-Yun water the strange plants they had collected. Look, the orange flower from Arcania is opening, Du-Yun said, pointing to a bright plant that glowed like fire. Mei-Jin smiled. When Du-Yun first came home from the war, he was like a ghost. He was angry all the time. He could not talk about what he had seen. Mei-Jin had started this garden to help him heal. They began with earth plants. Then Du Yun became interested in plants from other worlds, even from planets of their old enemies. He had to learn how to care for each one. He had to be gentle. The war had not taught him these things. Yunji is coming for dinner, Mei-jin said. She is bringing her Arcanian friend. Do Yun's shoulders got stiff, but he nodded. 5 years of peace had made his hate less strong, but it was still there. Mei-jin cooked food that mixed human and Arcanian tastes. She thought about how much had changed. The peace was still new and weak. There had been some bad things, fights, killings, small battles. But each time, both sides chose not to start the war again. The door made a sound. Yunji came in with Kelev, an Arcanian with blue scales. Once, Yunji had aimed her gun at Kelev. Now they worked together studying plants. They'd brought a small plant in a pot. "This is special," Yunji said. "We mixed human and Arcanian plants to make it. It can grow anywhere. It is strong, like we need to be." They all went to the garden. Mei-jin watched as her husband's hands worked in the dirt next to Kelev's clawed fingers. The war had taught humans to kill very well. Peace was teaching them something harder: how to live with those they once wanted dead. It was not about forgiving. Some hurts were too big for that. It was about seeing that to live, they had to change. That hate, like war, must end. Do Yun looked at the new plant. "What should we call it?" he asked Kelev. "In my language, we have a word," Kelev said. "It means growing from ashes." "In our language, we have a similar word," Du Yun said. "It means life after fire." They decided to use both words together. The name would be new, like the peace they were building. As the sun set, the 4 of them sat in the garden. Once, they had been enemies. Now they were something new, not quite friends, but no longer wanting to kill each other. It was a start.